meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Allen.
Here.
Green.
Here.
LaFour.
Here.
Mistrovich.
Here.
Reindell.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
Good to see everybody here tonight. Approval of minutes for the city council meeting of August 6th would be in order.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion on those minutes or the motion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We also have a set of minutes from the city council quarterly roundtable meeting of August 6th. Is there a motion to approve those?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Move on to audience comments on any non-agenda items. I asked if the Queen and Court could be here tonight, and we'd love to have you step up and tell us what's been going on this year. But now would be the time.
Hi, I'm Kelly Moylanen. I'm the 2008 Miss Richmond, and this is Shannon Emily. So far this year, we've done a parade at St. Clair Shores, Frankenmuth, New Baltimore, Lexington, Yale, Memphis, and Marine City. And they've all been very good, lots of fun. We've met lots of different people that have asked about our festival as well, and everyone seems very excited. And we're very excited for this coming festival.
During the parades, a lot of what we do, it's more than just, riding on a float. We go around and we talk to the other queens, and we see some kids and stuff on the side, and we'll go up and introduce ourselves, And it's really kind of funny because we're at other towns, small town festivals, but then they're talking about ours, and they'll bring up, oh, we love good old days, and we can't wait for your parade and stuff like that, so. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's so funny when you first get on it because people always say how fun it's going to be and all the little kids and how much they love you, and that really is true. Like all the kids that pass, like they love to look at us. It's so funny when they say how pretty we are. And yeah, it's been really fun to be like a celebrity.
Great. They've been a great group according to the people that are in charge. Laura is here tonight with her. Laura is our chairperson for the parades and the Queen and Court. And they've done a very good job. And we're proud to have you as representatives of the city of Richmond also. When you're out there as Miss Richmond and Court, you're out there representing our community, our entire community, not just the city itself. So very proud of you guys. You've done a great job. Appreciate you coming here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You don't have to stay for the whole meeting. Anybody else like to address the city council?
I'll wait again.
Come on up.
Yeah, I'm Maury DePries on Howard Street. Most of you probably know me again. And I see on the, it does not agenda item. I talked to people, business people down along Lane Street there, and they had no idea what the proposal was with Lane Street. And some of them were not happy with it. And my next door neighbor, he doesn't have access to it because he has a trailer in his yard too. So, but that is coming up in September, I've heard. And another thing, when I was at the roundtable meeting, Waste Management was here wanting to raise our taxes. We should not have to pay extra taxes for their poor business decision. They probably own more property than the whole city of Richmond throughout the country. So, and they're asking if they go to every city and do that, to me, that was their poor decision under management, so that's, consider that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving on. Anybody else? Okay. Adoption agenda, any changes, Mr. City Manager?
Yes, I would ask that we remove item 6, which is the consideration of the salt bin construction. We want to do a little bit more work and research on those bids. We will plan on having that back on your agenda at the next meeting, one way or another. And then also, I laid in front of you tonight a new motion for item number 2. I had changed the recommended motion, but under the motion, it was still for the approval of the event rather than the signage. That's for the Ride for Recovery. So there is a new motion in front of you.
Thank you. Is there anything from City Council? A motion to accept the amended agenda would be in order.
So
Like-
moved.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We're moving on to items for consideration, or no, I'm sorry, consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Moving on to items for consideration, which we have 7 on the amended agenda. The first one being consideration of Richmond Band Boosters signage request. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider a request from the Richmond Band Boosters to have their banner across M19 that would advertise for their 5th annual pumpkin craft and vendor sale, which is scheduled to be held the weekend of October 6th and 7th. We did finally, after this packet was put together, come to an agreement on the actual wording of the banner, and it's been approved. And also, there was some back and forth on, due to the timing of their event and the RAGS event, we're kind of shortening up their time period. Their banner would actually come down prior to their event going on to give RAGS at least a week and a half of their banner before their event. So with that, I would change motion number 1, the recommended motion there to say, from the Richmond Band Boosters for an across-the-road banner and temporary signage throughout town, and then the rest of that motion. And that would take care of kind of combining motion number 2 and motion number 1 into one.
Okay. And I'm sorry, sir, but did you say to leave the dates the same then, the 12th through the 3rd? In the first
All your
motion?
dates stay the same.
Oh,
For the road banner.
Yeah, they're taking it down on the 3rd.
hold on. Yeah,
In the summary.
actually, I forgot about
Not
that.
right here.
Maybe the second motion. Let's keep it 2 motions because of that date change. Sorry about that. I was trying to make it simpler, and it's actually going to be easier just
I
to do
just caught it.
both motions. Yep.
I didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of back and forth. They weren't able to be here tonight. You did apologize for that. But yeah, if we just do both motions, that would still allow them to have those temporary signs up right up to their event.
Okay,
That was
very
his,
good.
that was his concerns. He was kind of willing to take their street banner down early, but with the consideration that they have the temporary signage right up
On the
too.
ground.
So,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Very good. We got you now. Okay. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the special event application from the Richmond Band Boosters for an across-the-road banner from December 12th through October 3rd in conjunction with their annual pumpkin crab vendor sale, which is on October 6th and 7th.
Support.
Was it made and supported? Any discussion on this? The audience participation on this item? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have the second motion to consider. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the special event application from Richmond Band Boosters for temporary signage in conjunction with their annual pumpkin craft and vendor sale October 6th and 7th. The signs placed at city limit signs will be allowed beginning beginning Saturday, September 21st.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion on this item? Audience participation? Back to the table? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 2 is consideration of ride for recovery signage request. Mr. City Manager.
Back in February, the City Council approved a special event request from CARE of Southeastern Michigan for their Ride for Recovery event, which would be Sunday, September 30th in the city of Richmond. As you may recall, we provided them the use of the Trailhead Park and the municipal parking lot. They're also going to be renting the banquet hall for both a breakfast in the morning and kind of a luncheon in the afternoon for the riders. At that time, it was winter and we couldn't kind of go out and walk around and take a look at how the Trailhead Park and everything would be set up due to the snow. So we did that this summer. One of the things that came up was wanting to have some temporary signage, kind of letting people know about their event. This year they weren't able to do an across the road banner, so they have a smaller banner. Similar to kind of the finish line banners that we've had across the arch at the trail, the Romeo to Richmond race in past years. So I did put a photo in the council package showing kind of a couple different variations of how I'll work with them to figure out which one works for their banner once they get it. And so the recommendation from the administration is to allow them temporary signage at the Trailhead Park and throughout town to promote their event.
Very good, thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the special event request for CARE of Southeastern Michigan for their Ride for Recovery to place signage at the Trailhead Park and throughout town from Friday, September 21st through Sunday, September 30th.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on this? Anything from the audience? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 3 is consideration of waste management proposal. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider approving an amendment to the current 5-year waste management contract. Patrick Greavy from Waste Management came to the last quarterly workshop and discussed the increase in costs to recycling that have happened into the industry. As you recall, about when we entered into this 5-year contract with Waste Management, the bidding climate was kind of in some upheaval with many of the communities around us, and so we did a 5-year extension. Now that climate is different, and one of the things that we asked Waste Management for, if we consider the cost increase to the recycling, which we would take care of this current fiscal year, is that they allow us to opt out of the contract 1 year early and make it a 4-year contract versus a 5, because we feel that that will probably be advantageous to the city to drop the extra year off the contract.
Very good. Is there a motion before discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed amendment to the waste management contract, in which will increase the cost of recycling by 50 cents per unit by allowing the city the option to opt out of the final year of the contract.
Support. Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? We had a lot of discussion about this in our workshop. And it seemed as though, in the spirit of working with a partner that's worked with us for many, many years, this was good business for us, I believe is what the consensus was, is given the state of the lack of need evidently at the moment for recycling materials, especially from China. So, and with the option, as you've said, John, with getting out of that 5th year of the contract, that
That currently is a 3-year increase, or 3% increase guaranteed, and we may be able to do better now that things are a little different in the industry.
okay. Any other comments?
I believe it was also discussed at the meeting through Waste Management that it's a possibility that this might not even come to that percentage, so this isn't a guarantee that we have to pay. This is kind of thinking ahead, where worst case scenario type thing that we're planning for.
Okay. Patrick, did you want to say anything in addition to this?
Yes, good evening. Pat Greavy from Waste Management. Certainly want to thank the council for your careful consideration of this. I know we've been talking about this with the staff and then with the council for a while now. I think it's a good compromise we reach here that gives options to the city in the future. Also, the other point in the provision is, there's a chance to look at this again at the end of 2019 and see where things stand. So a couple of different jump-off points in the agreement at this point for, the city and/or Waste Management to do different things. So I think that was a fair suggestion on the part of the city and a good compromise. And most of all, we appreciate the partnership too. As you said, it's been a long partnership with your community. Appreciate the ability to have discussions about tough topics like this. Regardless of how you vote on this tonight, I want to thank you for that and thank you for the partnership that, again, regardless of how you vote, we're going to go forward and the city will as well. So certainly appreciate that, and I'm here to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Any questions? I think I answered them all in our workshop meeting. So.
Appreciate that opportunity to have that conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
I have comments, I don't.
You go up to the microphone so they can hear you.
More degrees, and I don't know if anybody in the city council has talked to any of the residents of the city about this increase in their taxes. Has anybody done that on the city council? Did you know of?
It's not an increase in taxes, it's an increase in service.
Well,
It's not on your taxes. It comes with the tax bill, Maurice. It's not an increase in
Well,
tax.
it's same if it's going to be added to our tax bill, it's still an increase. Any way you look,
Well, it's definitely an increase because of what is happening here.
Right.
Yes.
And as administration mentioned, this year it'll come out of the fund balance and not be an increase on this year's tax bill.
and they're talking about eliminating half of the things that you put in the trash anyway. So when they sort that out, it probably goes in the landfill anyway. So.
It could be. That's one of the things that we've discussed.
So why even have the bins out there if they're only gonna accept a minimum amount?
Well, they're not saying that.
Yeah, we did.
You're
get
guessing that that's
Yeah,
what they're
we did
gonna
get the
have.
flyer, the actual new flyer provided by Patrick Greavy. Actually accepts all of the things, but it just reminds people not to put food in with the recycled material and not to put syringes in. It's a little more clarifying than past flyers.
Well, on top of the recycle bins, it says everything you can put in there. Are they gonna change the bins? We don't know that, so.
But we do,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Back to the table?
I have spoken with many residents, and they support our recycling program and would not want to see any changes to the recycling program as it is. And they do understand that there's a possibility that some of those items may go to the trash, but the fact that is, if there's a possibility that it doesn't go to the trash, they want to continue the program, and they are willing to pay the $6 extra a year.
Yeah, and I think generally, whenever we've done any type of surveying in the community, it's one of the strong points that Richmond does have curbside recycling, and the residents are willing to pay for it. So, yeah, and they elect us to make those type of decisions also. So,
Excuse me, sir, if I may also, as far as the items that are going to the landfill, the reason that is because they're contaminated items. So, we discussed this also at the workshop, that there's going to need to be more education to the residents of Richmond, that when you put a plastic jar of mayonnaise, it has to be rinsed out, it has to be cleaned, because that does contaminate the entire bin, or it has the potential to contaminate the entire bin. So there needs to be more education as well. Just want to clarify that.
okay, anything else? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 4 is consideration of memorial bench donation request. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider approving a request to donate a bench to Beebe Street Park. Alexis Werner was an avid Beebe Street, or is an avid Beebe Street Park user, often coming and walking the dogs in the park. She also participated in the pool programs. Often when she did that, her late husband came with her and sat on our benches reading books, things like that, or walking with her. She wants to do a memorial for her late husband. It's gone through the rec board, and they have one identified there by the tight track that would replace an old wooden bench that's starting to deteriorate with the new style that we've used on the last couple of memorials.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the donation/gift agreement with Alexis Warner for the purchase of a memorial bench for the perennial park products and plaque for a total of $500 in accordance with the memorial policy.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? There's quite a discussion. I was at the Parks and Rec, and there was quite a discussion on, I brought up the entire memorial policy and how do we know that this person, being this person's from out of town, as it was presented at the meeting, how do we even know who this person is or what their background is? And as it turned out, evidently there was a misinterpretation of what my question was with the Park and Rec director. This is somebody who sat on those benches for at least a few years while his wife came to Richmond to use the Aquafit in our pool. So she did know them, she knew who they were, and generally knew their background. But it posed a question to me that we have people who don't live within our city who want to help beautify our parks is great. But how do we know if we're making a memorial bench in their name, who they are or who they were? Okay, so I think that was something that we had talked that we were going to have to tweak a little bit when it comes to memorial policy to make sure that there's some type of documentation on who these people are, which made me happy that we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And also, it's neat to see the town person be affected by the things that we have in Richmond, and that they appreciated those times together, and they want to give back.
Absolutely. Yep. Anything else on this?
The bench will match the existing one, so it's not like it's gonna be an odd bench, so that's important to note too.
Yeah. Yep. Anything from the audience? Back to the table. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 5 is consideration of Stecker Lane water main proposal. Mr. City Manager.
City Council previously authorized the city to prepare a water main easement documents for the property at 68051 Stecker Lane, which would allow the city's dead-end water main on Stecker Lane to be connected to the proposed Richmond West subdivision. Jim Getzinger from our Department of Public Works has worked with our city engineering firm to get those easements taken care of, and actually has them signed with the property owner. And at that time, we also got a price from the contractor who will be doing the sewer work there, because we felt while he's there, it's the best prices we're going to get to put the water main in at the same time or shortly after, before he fills in the hole. So we're going to get an advantage by using that same contractor to have it done at the same time. And so the contractor's already met with the property owner, kind of has an understanding of what will need to be done to hook them to the sewer system, which again will also get rid of a septic system in the city.
Very good. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to waive purchasing ordinance requirements on the basis of a benefit not otherwise obtainable if the competitive bidding process were to be followed, and authorize the expense of $51,000 for the construction of a water main from Stoker Lane to Woodside Drive, and the construction of a sewer lead to 68015 Stoker Lane, with the funds charged to the appropriate line items.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Any audience comments on this item? Back to the table. Roll call, please.
Green,
Yes.
LaFour,
Yes.
Mistrovich.
Yes.
Rindell,
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion does pass. Item number 7, from the amended agenda, consideration of changing the location of the September 4th City Council meeting. Mr. City Manager?
Recently, we have been changing the first meeting in September to the one-room schoolhouse at the Bailey Park and the Rags buildings at the one-room schoolhouse there. So we would ask that you give that same consideration this year.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to change the location of the September 4th, 2018 City Council meeting from the city offices to the schoolhouse in Bailey Park at 36045 Park Street.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this?
Just to let council know, they will have the barn open that night if anyone wants to go kind of take a look at the inside. We had talked about possibly moving it there, but there was some concern on no electricity or anything yet there, so no lights, that sort of thing. So they will have it open, so if council after the meeting wants to go take a quick look, they can.
Before they do the tent inspection then?
Yes, yeah, correct, yeah.
Okay.
It'll be a little detour, but yeah.
Okay, very good. Is there any discussion on this item? Something we've done for a number of years now, and appreciate Regs allowing us to use the historic schoolhouse during the good old days celebration. Anything from the audience?
Meeting will be at 6 or 7.
7 o'clock.
So,
Back to the table. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Final item on the agenda for this evening is the consideration of the establishment of the City Manager Evaluation Committee. Mr. City Manager.
council is scheduled to establish the ad hoc city council city managers review committee. We've done this in the past every year, but it was always done in March. Last year, we discussed during my evaluation that we would hold off and perform the evaluation after the budget was adopted. So that's why it's kind of coming to you tonight versus March.
Hey, sir, council, can we drop the rules for a moment and figure out who's going to serve on the committee?
Yes.
Is there consensus?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Who would like to do this?
I would.
Michael?
I'll do it again.
Dennis? Dennis? Anybody? I'll do it if
Mr. Mayor?
not anybody. Okay, we'll go back to our rules of the council. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to establish an ad hoc city manager review committee for the purpose of coordinating the annual performance evaluation of the city manager and reviewing the city manager's employment agreement, and making recommendations to the city council on changes in the compensation package provided to the city manager, with the committee to expire on October 30th, 2018, with the following councilors appointed to serve on the committee: Mayor Ricks, Mayor Pro Tem Stravich, and Councilor LaFour.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
Is there any changes that the committee will potentially propose making to the form?
We'll have to look at it first.
Okay.
Committee.
Then if that's so, would we want to extend that ad hoc to give you time to adjust the evaluation and then get it back to the council?
No,
Okay.
no. I see no
I think
need.
that should be enough time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should be fine.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. And if there is something anybody would like to add
Yeah.
to this or take away from the evaluation tool, then let us know and we'll talk with the city manager and see if he's agreeable to that. Okay? Anything else on this? Any audience comments on this item?
There is one we'll do the evaluation, but John has always taken very good care about any issues that came up.
Good feedback.
It's not even your birthday and Maurice is saying you do a
tell
good
you.
job.
Do we want to add one person?
Appreciate that, Maurice.
Thank you, Maurice. Appreciate it.
Okay.
This is pretty much the same format we've used in the past, so I've been comfortable with it in the past, so I don't personally see any changes need to be made.
Mhm. Okay, nothing else? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. City manager's comments, sir.
Our contractor did show up for the City Hall roof painting project today. So some of you, as you're looking out, may see either them still up there or the next couple of days. They hope to have it completed this week. The patching crew is still around town. They have a couple more days of work on that. We're holding them off right now. We have a little bit of curb work to do before they do their final patches. And then I think this week and next week, the crack sealing and
Just here.
just here. Okay, sorry. We'll be doing some crack sealing and seal coating here at the City Hall Police Post parking lot. I will post, we may have to change kind of where customers come in and out. We'll be reviewing that tomorrow. We'll put it up on the website, so if you're coming to City Hall, just follow. We'll have some detour signage, but we'll also have it on the website. Should only be a couple days inconvenience to get it all done.
Very good. Since you were bringing up some of our street work, I'm sure everybody's just eager to hear about what MDOT is doing on Main Street for us.
And I am too. They have sent the letter to both the contractor and their bonding company. The contractor had put that they would be here this week. I contacted MDOT and said, hey, I don't want to put my name again on one more piece of paper going out there with dates. They expect that they'll be here the 23rd this week. But he was going to be emailing me either later today or tomorrow, and then I'll be putting that out. According to the contractor and to MDOT, they're still all saying 23rd, and that all work will be done prior to Labor Day. If anything isn't done, all barrels will be removed from M19 prior to the festival, because I said we're not going to have people sitting in barrels again for any of the parades. So I know the letter indicated like $100 an hour liquidated damages in order for them to hire another contractor to get anything like that out for that week. But again, talking to MDOT today, I did not get clear decisive answers on whether they would be here on August 23rd, which is very disappointing.
So really, they have until darn near good old days to come into town. So they don't have to be here on the 23rd, or?
The answer to that is I would say yes. That they expect through this letter to the contractor that they will be here and all work will be completed prior to Labor Day weekend. That gives them a couple days of good old days week to kind of come in and get things off of the street. They have said that they will be doing the work, at night, and that whatever they need to accomplish that prior to Labor Day weekend is on the contractor, or they're going to lose their money.
Okay. Still very disappointing. Very, very disappointing.
Frustrating.
Yep.
Can I ask a question on that? Because some residents are asking, what is MDOT's chain of command? I mean, because obviously they couldn't complain to us because we would complain to them. Do they call MDOT? They've called Representative Yarrick and he's exhausted his means. Who else could they potentially call?
I can put something together for City Council. I know there's a State Transportation Commission that's made up, or at least in the past there was. Ted Wabi formerly was on that. So I know, I'll have to look into that off the top of my head. I don't know exactly the hierarchy. I know each county has a transportation service center, or what they often commonly refer to as the TSCs. I know they're in the phone book. You can Google them, MDOT Transportation Service Centers, and I do know they have public phone numbers there. I know in the past that's the number we've given to residents to start with, and beyond that I'll put something together on where council or where residents should go should they want to voice their concerns.
But we have dealt with people from the state beyond the county MDOT office. So they've actually had people come in and talk to us. They say the same thing, but they can't control the contractor. They should be able to control the contractor. That's our whole problem, is the contractor continues to not show up. That should be on the state. They should have something in their contract that says if you're not going to do the job or do it properly, then
Right.
we're going to get somebody else in there. And what I'm afraid of is we're going to get back in the same rut that we were last time. It's going to be below the, was it 50 degrees at night? They can't do it. They can't do the pour. So now we're going to wait another year for this? At least we got the stripes back. It's a little rough, but at least we got the stripes back. But it's still, this is just uncalled for. It's horrible.
I've never seen something this bad, even from the state.
So it's going to be, we're going to get close to a year. Was it October? When
October.
they walked out of here?
October when they
Yeah.
pulled off, yeah.
Yeah.
And realistically, a good contractor, and when I say good, obviously, we do not have a good contractor, but talking to both the person who they kicked this up to at the TSC and to the kind of independent engineering firm that they contracted with to handle the oversight of this, that there really is about a week and a half of work left, and so if they got a good contractor in here, there's no reason it can't be handled prior to winter coming. But again, as I say that, I've just never seen something like this happen.
Yeah. Yep. Well, maybe we can address it once it gets finished. maybe we can address the issue more with the state, so it doesn't happen to anybody else. Again, okay. Council comments? Dennis?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Rob?
Nothing.
John?
Nothing.
Emily?
Nothing, thank you.
Jamie?
Has anybody heard if we're having the Romeo to Richmond race?
We are not.
Okay, that was,
That has been canceled. It was a number-wise, everyone wants to go to the new race.
Right. Nope.
And so our numbers just kept kind of, we went up the first few years that we held it up to about, 600 people, 700 people, and then it tailed off and it's a couple hundred people. And for that long of a race with no kind of route, it was just straight over from Romeo. There was a lot of volunteers needed for water stations, a lot of, police presence, not just Richmond Police, but all the way across and EMS. And so just number-wise, it just came to the point where we needed to end because we were kind of the old race. People were looking for the new race to go to. So, it's not something that, maybe in the future there's some other type of race or a shorter race, 5K, something along those lines that could be brought back. But for this year, the Romeo to Richmond race has been canceled.
The new race, Thursday Good Old Days, are running with the Devils.
Exactly, yeah, running with the devil on the
Good Old Days.
Thursday.
That's the new one that you need to recruit them
Yeah.
to.
Okay. Where are we at? Michael?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, go to the calendar. How did the Bees do on the 12th? Did they play?
they played, yes, this week.
In Richmond, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
It was a Gatling gun. And so there were 3 teams that played, so it's kind of a little crazy how it goes. They rotate around, so the Bees came in second.
Okay, well, good. Then they're playing,
Nope, they're
or
done.
they played the 19th?
Yes,
They played
and then
yesterday.
they played the
They
19th.
played yesterday, okay.
Yes, and then we're done.
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
they have a game in Port Huron in a couple weeks.
yeah. Cool. I bring that up because they are called the Richmond Bees.
Yes.
I think that's something that we should get a little more mileage out of. Maybe we could add that to our calendar somehow as we have pictures on there.
Yes, and they're named after Erasmus Beebe.
Pardon me?
They're named after Erasmus Beebe.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So maybe we could do something like that just to, and that's pretty cool. Not too many cities have their own
No, they don't.
baseball teams like that. So, okay, today being the 20th, we have the night swim. And this, I believe, is going to be the party. Saturday, August 25th and Sunday, August 26th from 1 to 5. There will be the 50th anniversary pool party weekend. It's going to be night swims. And the last regular night swim is going to be August 24th. But it's the community pool party weekend. So anybody can enjoy that. We go through to Labor Day weekend. The City Hall, the library will be closed on Saturday the 1st. City Hall and all other city buildings will be closed on the 3rd, Labor Day itself, and reopen on the 4th. The City Council will have a meeting on the 4th at 7 o'clock, which will be held at the Rags School. And also the Rec Board will be meeting at 7 o'clock also, I'm assuming here at City Hall?
Yes.
Okay. And that's on the 4th. Richmond Good Old Days is coming up, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that is it for now. Is there anything else that we need to talk about on the calendar? If not, we will move on. There is no closed session this evening. Is there any other business of the City Council? Being not, motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
All right.
Against? Motion does pass. Thanks for being with us.